Welcome to Finding Holiness, where we delve into timeless Torah wisdom, revealing the sacred in everyday moments. Join us on a journey to elevate your spirituality and discover holiness in every aspect of life. I'm your host, Rabbi David Kadosh, and together, let's embark on a path of spiritual exploration. I hope you enjoy this next episode. All right. We are continuing with Mishna Ketubot. We are on Perek Bet, Mishnah Daled. Ze omer, ze ktav yadi, veze ktav yado shel haveri. One witness says, the signature here is my handwriting, and that signature is my friend's handwriting. Veze omer, and the other guy says, ze ktav yadi, this one is my handwriting, veze ktav yado shel haveri. So they're both agreeing to both signatures that they see, but now we have two witnesses per signature. Hare elu ne'emanim. They are believed. It's verified because you have two confirmed witnesses per signature. Ze omer ze ktav yadi, veze omer ze ktav yadi. But if one guy says this is my handwriting, and the other guy says this is my handwriting, so you only have one confirmation per signature, then the Mishnah says serichim letzaref imahem acher. You have to combine your testimony with another testimony, another person, because you need at least two witnesses to testify, to confirm each signature. Divrei Rabbi, these are the words of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Chachamim say, Enan tzrichim letzaref imahem acher. You don't need to combine with another person. Ela ne'eman adam lomar ze ktav yadi. One person is believed, this is my handwriting. If he says this is my handwriting, we believe him according to the Chachamim. Okay. Ha'isha she'amishnah Ha'isha she'amra eshet ish hayiti ugrusha ani. A woman who was assumed to be single goes up to the court and says, I was married, but now I'm divorced. In that case, ne'emenet. She's believed and she can go marry another man for the same reason that we spoke about last class. She'apeh she'asar hu'apeh she'itir. The mouth that prohibited her to other men also is the mouth that permitted her to them. So meaning she could have avoided the whole conversation. Who asked you to come up and say that you were once married and now you're divorced? You could have just let it be the way it was. But she chose instead to prohibit herself by saying that she was married. Okay? So she can remove that prohibition by adding the fact that she was divorced. However, now, if there are witnesses that come in and testify that she was married, so she stayed silent, and other witnesses came, that woman, she was married. But then she responds, "Vehi omeret gerushani." Yeah, I was married, but I'm divorced now. Then in that case, ena ne'emenet. She could not have avoided the prohibition. We have no reason to believe her that she's indeed divorced. Of course, if she shows a get, that's a different situation. Okay. Amra nishbeti utora ani. A woman says, I was captured by Goyim, but I'm Teorah. Often in those days, if a woman was captured, that meant she was violated, and she became impure. So here she's saying, I was captured, but nothing happened to me. No one touched me. Ne'emenet. She's believed, and she can marry a Kohen because she'apeh she'asar u'apeh she'itir. Again, the same reason that mouth that prohibited her to the Kohanim is the same mouth that permits her to the Kohanim. Again, she could have just said nothing, and we would have assumed she was permitted to the Kohanim, but now she's prohibiting herself by saying she was captured and permitting herself by saying she was not violated. But, similar to the last case, if there are witnesses who come and testify, hey, that woman, Rachel was captured by Goyim, we saw her get captured, and then she says, yeah, but nothing happened to me. They didn't say anything to me. In that case, ena ne'emenet, she's not believed, and therefore she cannot marry a Kohen because we assume that she indeed was violated. Ve'im misheniset ba'wedim. Let's say we permitted her to a Kohen. Okay, we permitted her to a Kohen because hapeh she'asar ve'hapeh she'itir. She said I was captured but not violated. And then Edim came. Edim came and said that she was captured. In that situation, we don't tell her to divorce her current husband. She remains permitted to marry a Kohen if indeed she married a Kohen. If witnesses came and said that Rachel and Leah were captured by idolaters, Zot omeret, Rachel says, Nishbeti utora ani. Yes, I was captured, but I'm pure. Vezot omeret, Leah says, Nishbeti utora ani. Yes, I was captured, but I am pure. Ena ne'emanot. They are not believed to permit themselves to marry a Kohen because this testimony, this claim came only after the witnesses said that Rachel and Leah were captured. Ubizman shehen ma'idot zo et zo. However, if they testify about each other, meaning Rachel says in front of Bedin, Leah was captured but she was not touched. And then Leah says Rachel was captured but she was not touched. In that case, Hare elu ne'emanot. They are believed and they're allowed to marry Kohanim. The Chachamim decreed that testimony of just one woman is suffice for them to marry. Same thing, V'chen shenei anashim. Same thing regarding two men. We don't know who these men are. Ze omer kohen ani. This guy says, I'm a kohen. V'ze omer kohen ani. The other guy says, I'm a kohen. Ena ne'emani. They are not believed. Well, a guy is not believed to testify about himself that he is a kohen. Ubizman she'en me'idin ze et ze, harelu ne'emani. But if one guy says, yeah, I know that Aharon is a kohen. I know that. I know for a fact. And then Pinchas says, Aaron says about Pinchas, I know that he's a kohen. In that situation, they are believed. So, because the testimony of one witness is enough to make some or establish him as a kohen. The next Mishnah provides different opinions on this. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, en ma'alin lakeuna al pi edehad. Says you can't establish someone a kohen just based on one person claiming that he's a kohen. But rather, according to Rabbi Yehuda, says you need two people. You need two people to know that this person is a kohen in order to establish him as one. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar says, Ematai. When do you need two witnesses to establish a person as a kohen? B'makom sheyesh orerin. Only when there is some guy, the neighbor, who is challenging Pinchas and his kohen status. So we have Moshe. Moshe is a Levi. Moshe is jealous of Pinchas. And Moshe goes to Bedin and says, hey, this guy Pinchas, he claims he's a Kohen. He has Kohen in his last name. He's not really a Kohen. He's not really a Kohen. He's lying to you. He's challenging his status for whatever reason. So in that case, Rabbi Elazar says, you will need two people to come to Bedin and establish that Pinchas was indeed a Kohen, to return to him the status and enjoyed. But before that, you only need one. But if there's no challenges against him, we raise a person to the status of Kohen with just one witness. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Asegan, in the name of Rabbi Shimon, the deputy Kohen Gadol, Ma'alin Nikuna al pi edechad, we raise a man to a keuna just upon the testimony of one witness, meaning you can combine it. If you have one guy that already said it, you can bring somebody else, even if they were two separate testimonies. Okay, now, if a woman, a married woman, commits adultery, then the halakha is very clear that she and her husband are now biblically forbidden to live together. And there is a difference whether or not the husband was a Yisrael or a Kohen and a non-Kohen. If the husband is a Yisrael, then she becomes prohibited to him only if she acted willfully. Beratzon. She performed the cohabitation beratzon. But if the husband is a Kohen, then even if she was violated against her will, okay, then in that situation, she's still prohibited to the Kohen. And this is the subject of Mishnah Tet. Ha'isha shenechbesha bidei goyim. This is the law of a woman who was imprisoned by non-Jews. So again, when you were imprisoned by non-Jews, we don't know what happened over there in the jail, right? Things were very tough over there for ladies going into jail. So this is what the Mishnah says. Depends. Al yedei mamon, if the non-Jews imprisoned her because they wanted money from her, like a ransom. They kidnapped her, they put her in jail, they're waiting for some money. In that case, muteret lebala. We say that she's permitted to her husband, even if the husband is of a Kohen, because the jailers are afraid of losing their money. If they do anything to the woman, they may not get their money, so therefore, we're not going to touch her. We just want our money, we're going to leave her alone. So we're going to leave her alone. She's permitted to her husband, even if the husband is a Kohen. However, al yedei nefashot asura leba'ala. But if they imprisoned her because she was subject to execution, she was going to die for something that she did, in that situation, who cares? She's going to die anyways. And these goyim, they'll just do whatever they want with this woman and violate her in many, many ways. In that situation, if she happens to escape the death penalty and she goes back to her home, then she may have, who knows? We assume that she may have agreed to cohabit with the goyim to spare her life. All right, let me go. I'll do whatever you want. Then she can't go back to the Kohen, even though it was against her will. She can't go back to the Kohen because Allah says if you do it against your will, you're prohibited to a Kohen. If a town was conquered by an army, Kol kohanot shenimseu petocha pesulot. All the wives of the Kohanim who are in that town are prohibited to their husbands because we assume that they were violated by the soldiers. This is what the Mishnah says. Ve'im yesh lahem edim. But if they have at least one witness, one or more witnesses that say they were not violated, I took Leah and I hid her in my attic. I'm telling you, she was not touched, she was not violated. In that case, afilu eved, afilu shivcha, even if the witness is a non-Jewish slave, a Canaanite slave or a maidservant, hare elu ne'emanin. The witnesses are believed and they can remain with their husband, the Kohanim. Ve'en adam ne'eman al yedei atzmo. But a person is not believed to testify about himself. Meaning the woman cannot say, I was not touched, I was not violated. She's not believed. But on her own. Amar Rabbi Zechariah ben HaKatzav. Rabbi Zechariah ben HaKatzav, he happened to be a Kohen, and he said about his wife, Hama'on hazeh lo zaza yada mitoch yadi misha shenichnesu goyim Yerushalayim be'ad sheyatzu. He goes, I swear by the Bet HaMikdash that her hand did not leave my hand from the moment that they entered, these goyim entered Yerushalayim until they left. Meaning, I know that she was not violated. Amru lo, they told him, En adam me'id al yedei atzmo. A person cannot testify about himself, and that meaning your testimony cannot be accepted because it's like you're testifying by yourself. Even though you're testifying about your wife, it really has to do with you. So in that situation, we can't accept your testimony. Okay, we'll stop here and we'll continue B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow.